And I love this about China. It's free to 你们好，你们好啊。It's free. 谢谢啊，谢谢。中文挺好。谢谢，谢谢。You can just be here and then enjoy with your family.
This is Felthamy, and he's one of my favorite TikToker / YouTubers because he just has such a positive air about himself, and not only the way he is, but the way he carries himself and the kind of media that he puts out. And so this conversation is going to be one of the baseline factors that I want to stress in today's video before I get to my 3 points. So this is the little girl saying, I don't like to hug people with black faces, only white faces, because white people are good people. This is a little 4-year-old talking. Black people, they get dirty. He says, you think? And he says, look at my skin, it's not dirty. It isn't. And the little girl says, you were born like that? A lot of black people are nice people too. And the big sister is trying to correct her, right? Did you ever see black people in a movie, he asked. She's never watched a movie. And she says she's 4 years old. She's never watched a movie. So you can see that his interaction with the young girl is 100% positive, but he can't do it without having a strong interest in the culture and the language. Dating apps. So if you're interested in using dating apps, there's one thing you should pay attention to in terms of the amount of people you're going to have access to. So let's say that you open up the app store and you type in Tinder in English. You're going to get Tinder come up. You can see right there, 70,000 people are using Tinder. Now you see the next app there and you see 347,000 people using this one. And then you see 200,000 people using this one. And so right off the bat, these two apps put together are almost 8 to 9 times as many people using the Tinder app, just because they don't use Tinder. And there could be a variety of reasons for it. Those reasons can go from they see Tinder as a straight hookup app to they want to filter out people who are coming here just to look for a good time. Some people are actually looking for something that's more serious and it's not childlike or, you know, playing games. And so a command of the language is going to allow you to open up different sources of people to date based simply on the fact that you can speak the language. Because again, most people that you're going to go to in that country are going to speak the mother tongue of that country. International parties. So in this TikTok, they asked, do you have a Japanese girlfriend? And he answers, yes, she does. He points her over. She comes over. Okay, so she's saying, how did you meet? And they said they met at a 交流会みたいな感じの cafe で知り合った. So they met each other at a kind of meeting where people who are relationship-minded guys and girls get together and kind of get to know each other and pair up, if you will. Yeah, dated for 2 months. Yeah, so she's met a French boyfriend at the meeting, I guess you call it the relationship meeting, and they got to know each other and they've been dating for 2 months. Now the second one I want you to listen to.
How did I meet my Japanese wife? That one here. So around 3 years ago, I went to an exchange in Japan to Nagoya University and experienced life in Japan for around half a year, eating convenience store fried chicken every single day. It was like literally the most delicious thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. After some time, I went to an international party over there in Nagoya, where I met her.
And that's the second one. So you heard him say that he met her at an international party. I would say if you're a person who has limited language ability, probably one of the best places you can meet someone to date or to be friends with, if you will, is an international party. Because you're probably there going to meet someone who studies some English and they can meet you halfway and you can develop a kind of relationship with someone who has interest in your culture as well as someone who probably is either going to school or has gone to school or is looking to do something above going to clubs and just randomly meeting people and hooking up with them. Study teacher or study group. So in the beginning of this video, I spoke about the importance of having an interest in the language and the culture. This is why finding a tutor is really important. If you find a tutor, and I'm not telling you to date the tutor, as a matter of fact, I think that's unprofessional, but what you can do is use a tutor to help you better understand where you are and what you're doing. So if your tutor says, those kind of bars, I don't know if you should do that, or if you want to meet some people who are studying for this level of test, you could go to this college campus or this meeting place, and there's a group that meets there every Tuesday or something, and they're looking for members. And you can just slowly network through people who are serious about trying to learn the language, and then maybe, hey, let's go out and have some beers, and you go somewhere that you wouldn't go otherwise because you're avoiding the spaces where people who aren't as invested in the culture tend to congregate, and instead are going to places where more commoners or locals congregate, and you can get a much different experience and meet very different people.
One thing that I noticed with him was he would book my lesson like almost every night at the same time. So I started noticing him, and I was like, oh, this student. Yes, this student again, booking my lesson tonight.
If you have an interest in learning the language, it's just naturally going to put you in different positions. So use your quest to learn more stuff as a natural way of branching out. Find a group of people that are interested in either teaching you or learning the language with you, and that can be a very reliable source to extend your social network.
Yes, I had that feeling too, and I would always look forward to our lesson because he was a very friendly person. He was really nice to talk to. He was very kind, and I'm like, yeah, why not? I like getting students like that. And so we developed a friendship. We talked about a lot of things. I enjoyed talking to him. I enjoyed having him in my lessons.
Let your network do the work. This is a story of a Tanzanian guy, and he met his wife through his sister. So his sister and his future wife were friends, or they became friends on a Japanese cruise ship. I think it's more of a goodwill ambassadorship, and they became good friends. And so at the time, because they were good friends, the young Japanese lady wanted to visit her home. And so my wife became interested in visiting my sister's home. And then when she came home, he met her, and he said he fell in love with his wife then. So this is just one of the instances, and it strays a little bit from the previous stories, but the best way you can vet your significant other is to have other people looking for a good person for you. And the best way to get there is to be someone who's contributing something to a local environment to where people say, hey, you know, this guy's a good guy. We want to find someone for him because this person, we want them to stay, or he deserves someone that is going to be nice to him. And in turn, he's going to take really good care of someone else.
I'm really a whore. Like I'm a, like with a W, like I'm a whore.
But define that though.
Like I'm a whore.
If there's one thing I don't miss about America and American culture, I don't know if there's anything I miss less than the hyper focus on sexuality. We just saw this in Janelle Monáe's video where there's just less and less and less to be desired. And it's just this focus on immediate pleasure and how many people are you having relations with, and finding different ways to say, you know what, it's okay if I'm having relationships with a lot of different people and my body count doesn't matter, because it's just not the case in most other countries. In a lot of other countries, you don't have a large group of the population saying, I can just be with as many people as I like and it doesn't matter. Because you actually have a class of people that maybe for religious reasons or for social reasons don't want a lot of people to know, or maybe they want to disguise it, or they just don't want people to think about it in particular. They don't want people to think that they're trying to have relations with a lot of different people. So when you go overseas and you feel the room and you notice that, get a feel for the fact that there's actually a group of young ladies who aren't trying to be with 15, 20, 100 different guys. They want one guy, settle down and be done with it. I'll leave you with these 2 points. One, please read the room. If you're in an area or a place where you don't see people doing cold approach in the park or in the supermarket, you don't do cold approach in a supermarket. I would suggest you don't do it. Instead, look at the way people there are doing it and find a way through that culture, because every culture is going to have their places where there are young ladies who are looking for guys who are serious to date. And there'll be some places where some ladies are looking for guys who are willing to pay money for certain services. If you read the room, you'll see how people move in that culture. And secondly, if you invest in the culture, it's going to reward you. And I'll say it over and over again, not just because you're going to pour yourself into learning the language, but people are going to see you pouring yourself into learning the language and the culture. And in return, they're going to invest in you by helping you find a friend group. Heck, you'll have people looking for a mate for you if you are a person that's doing right. And I think that Feldamy is such a good example because he has generated a force field of goodwill around himself. And so basically everywhere he goes with a camera, he's borderline a superstar in China. And this is all stems from his having a bubbly personality, reading the room, and heavily investing in the culture. For anyone that's going to be a passport bro and you want to make a mark, you want to do something, you want to be an expatriate, take some time, invest in the culture, invest in the language, and do your networking through that. That is the best way that you're going to find quality relationships, and you're going to have quality people trying to find a quality person for you because they want that person to be in a relationship with a quality person, which is you. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.